Reno's Mayor Robert Cashell gave his first State of the City, followed by a budget town hall, saying it was important to let residents know that the council and city manager have a plan for providing critical services if the economy continues to decline. To date, the city manager and staff balanced the budget through careful planning and disciplined spending.
Last year, we resurfaced over 65 miles of streets in our community. The street surfacing program costs 1/10 of what it does to reconstruct streets, and it prolongs the life of our streets by 10 years.
Mayor Cashell mentioned other projects that have been completed with the help of private funding and grants, the purchase of the YMCA on Foster Drive, and the completion of the Community Assistance Center. He also went on to say that the city is fortunate to have investors building projects like the Montage condominiums and the AAA baseball stadium downtown.
The baseball stadium, when it opens, will create over 200 jobs.
Mayor Cashell reacted to Governor Jim Gibbons' recent State of the State address, in which the governor said he wants to pull 4% of the property tax that comes to the city.
The governor's budget proposes to divert some of the county taxes. And I want you to rest assured, we will do everything we can, working with the county and Sparks, to keep our money from being diverted.
Mayor Cashell also discussed the recent dilemma the city faced in the bonding market, explaining it was a good deal before the economy soured.
We heard that the auction rate bonds were getting in trouble. We used them, just like everybody else since 1988 have been using auction rate bonds, to leverage our money to do the best things we could for the community. We used it on the retract. We were able to use it to buy the bowling stadium, and that's where the business people get a little angry, because we only paid them $7 million for the bowling stadium, and they built it for $40 million. And so we were able to get that back under our control. We used it to build the Reno Ballroom. We used it in helping us remodel Virginia Street and beautifying downtown and cleaning it up. We used it for we used it over in the ballroom and in the event center. But then the market went to hell. Our rates went up over triple. They've never had a problem with auction rate bonds that started in 1988. And we're not the only ones that were affected by it.
Before ending his State of the City, Mayor Cashell told residents the city has submitted a list of priorities for President Obama's stimulus package. He is also hopeful the city can avoid layoffs by reaching agreements with our collective bargaining units to reduce pay or working hours.
And I hope that we don't have to. I hope we can all sacrifice and give up a little bit so we don't have any layoffs.
Reno City Manager Charles McNeely led a budget town hall meeting following the State of the City to discuss the $26.6 million in cuts to the Reno budget and further options. McNeely explained that the largest impact on the budget is the decline in consolidated sales tax revenue of more than $4 million last fiscal year, and new estimates that the revenue could drop another $7 to $14 million this year from what it was in fiscal year 2006-2007.
We just didn't start yesterday planning. This has been going on since 1996.
McNeely displayed a list of things the city has done to weather the economic downturn with minimal impact so far.
All of those things up here, for me, represent steps that have been taken that we have utilized to manage the taxpayer dollars, your resources, things that you entrust us with, to make sure that we are running a lean, efficient organization for the public that we serve. In addition to that, we've also reached out to do some things to help our residents, knowing full well that we are in an economic downturn, and our role is not only providing services, but it's also to reach out and to help those residents who are going through some very difficult times as a result of this economy.
McNeely finished his presentation by explaining the potential options if there is another $3.3 million or up to $13.5 million decrease in revenues.
Our major product is service. And in order to provide that service, what we're talking about is people. Close to 80% of our costs are staff. I mean, that's what we do. We provide service.
McNeely says the options for further reductions include overtime reductions, suspending pay increases, mandatory furloughs, additional position freezes, further program cuts, alternate work schedules, and possible reductions in force.
If we keep going down the road that we're going and our revenue keeps dropping, my view is that we're going to have to consider that.
Unlike other local entities, including the City of Sparks and Washoe County, the city has not laid off anyone during this economic downturn. There are other concerns outside of the city's control that could further lead to a decline in revenue, a property tax decline, and possible action by the Nevada legislature. Residents were encouraged to ask questions or make comments following McNeely's presentation.
The comment that I would have with such a high unemployment rate, one of the highest in the nation, would be towards small businesses. Since I often work with disenfranchised communities, I know that clever minds come up with clever ideas in times of stress like we have now. And I would encourage the city to keep an open mind and broaden the horizons on small businesses. I know that the Hispanic community tends to open a lot of small businesses, and that may be one of the things that solve some of our unemployment as we go into this, some of the future problems that we're facing.
And that's one of the things our redevelopment agency's been working on, and we've come up with some funding mechanisms trying to help small businesses get involved.
One of the things that was incorporated into Governor Gibbons' State of the State speech was a real hit to an institution that is a very important part in the lifeblood of our community here. And I would hope that one of the priorities that our city has is to go to the legislature regarding the budget cuts that the university is going to have, because that is going to have a tremendous impact. The degree of cuts that they would face would have a major impact on our community here.
After hearing from residents, the City Council will approve a plan to further decrease revenues in a worst-case scenario of budget shortfalls.